I'm the only one who's properly dressed in here. Right? I went round to check. I'm the only one in a suit. Don't worry, it's a cultural thing. So it's a cultural thing. So where I come from, you can't go to church a man without a suit. So I just came from church, that's why I'm properly dressed. Now, can I hear someone say jumbo? Jumbo! Alright, can I hear someone say sawona? Alright, can I hear someone say Mwaswera? I'm trying to remember, in Africa there are about over 2,000 languages. So I've done pretty well. Alright, let's say Malawi, Mwakabwanji. Alright, great. So, as they introduced me, I'm Harold Maya, I'm from Zambia, and I've been in New Zealand for 16 years, and in Nelson for about 10 years. Now, let me tell you one of my hobbies. I think Beloved knows exactly. Beloved, what's one of my hobbies? I know he's laughing because he knows. One of my hobbies is talking. I can be talking here till cows come home. She wants to grab the mic off me. Thank you, my brother. I can be talking here till cows come home. Go back tomorrow in the paddock. Comes back home again, I'll still be talking. I remember one time I was talking, we were driving from Christchurch with my friend. By the time I stopped talking, we had arrived at our house. And he looked at me and said, "Do you realize that we've been talking for 5 hours?" So please, if I go beyond 10 minutes, just remind me, but you're going to understand. Alright, so I've been here. So far, alright, so I've been here, friends, for 16 years, but I want to just share a little bit about my experience. But I'm not gonna be here for over 2 hours now. So when I grew up in Zambia, I didn't mention about the cultural thing. Culture is something that is embedded in us. That's how I put it. Because when you are growing up, there are things that they tell you what to do and what not to do. Now, can you imagine growing up in Zambia and then I moved here in my 20s as a young person? The first thing that shocked me, the cultural shock. One day I saw a truck carrying a house. Can you imagine that? I thought I was dreaming of how can you transport a house on a truck? And then I rang my relatives back home. I'm like, I've just seen a truck. They are transporting a house. Please, I'm not too sure if I'm okay. Is this normal? Then later on I learned that actually that house was made out of wood, right? And they could transport it and transplant it and go and plant it somewhere else. One of the cultural shock I faced, I was working on a farm, on a dairy farm. So one morning, I came to the milking shed and my boss was telling me to turn off the engine for the bike. And what he did, he was pointing at me like this, and he did this. And I thought he's saying, "I'm gonna kill you." And I said, no. Then he was pointing at me, pointing at the bike, and doing this. And then I later realized he was saying, "Kill the engine." But he was doing this. Then I realized, all right, I'm in for a ride here. It was so interesting. With the language as well, for the first time, I learned that there are different words you can use to say yes or no. So I heard these guys were like, nah. I'm like, what are you talking about? What's that? What's nah? And then I realized they are saying no. Who can guess the other word that we use here to say yes? Yeah. But the other one was yep. So all this was confusing to me. And in no time, I realized culture can be so strong. Now, you can choose culture to break you or to build you. So I chose culture to build me instead of breaking me. Because I realized culture is beautiful. If you look around here, you can go and have a taste of Nigerian food, Zambian, Zimbabwe, South Africa. But I want to say one thing. We are all human beings created in the image of God. And the best culture that we have is that we are all human beings. That's the most important one. But of course, some people, they have used culture to break them or to separate us. But I'm glad and I'm so happy, Pastor, that actually we have organized this. Because us here, we have used culture to bring us together instead of separating us as a family. And I want to say this African saying. How many minutes, Pastor?
21 minutes. 1 minute. 1 minute.
Thank you.
I can add you one more.
Thank you. As I summarize, I'm going to share this African saying. I love it so much. The African saying goes like this. If you want to walk faster, walk alone. But if you want to go very far, walk with somebody. Now what I'm bringing home, friends, today is that for me, that helped me to settle here is because I chose not to walk alone. And I want to encourage you. I was just sharing with my sister from Zambia. I've just met her for the first time. I didn't know, I've heard about the family, but we never met before. And she's less than a year in Nelson. And I remember I was by myself in Omaru. It was so cold. Can you imagine? For the first time I saw snow. And I used to see snow on TV. But I woke up this morning, it was all white. And then my boss came and said, let's go. I said, where are you going? He said, oh, we're going to work. I said, do you work when it's like this? He said, oh yeah, everything continues. I was by myself. But when I chose to work with somebody, life became much easier. And I want to encourage everyone here. You may have just come to New Zealand maybe last year, 2 years, 3 years, 10 years ago. It doesn't matter. Don't walk by yourself. Walk with somebody. That's the only way you can go very far. Don't walk alone. And let's continue enjoying food.